This WIAA presentation is being brought to you by your cooperative and Land O'Lakes, where the farm-to-food system begins. John Deere and your local John Deere dealer. The rural companies, serving the insurance needs of Wisconsin families with nearly 300 agents. And the dairy farmers of Wisconsin, the men and women who are responsible for the famous milk of the dairy state.
Let's go. I'm driving. Don't drive drunk. No, 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 no. Drive drunk. No, 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 no. Drive drunk. Woo! I can strong drive as a man.
Come on, let me drive. Martin, last time, give me the keys.
No way!
What kind of friend are you? Look, give him the keys.
Well, the backbone of a lot of great events is music, and we've talked about the great fans and the great teams. Let's talk about a couple of great pep bands and listen in on WIAA, Tosa East and Sheboygan North.
We're getting set for the WIAA Tosa East Sheboygan North matchup. And there's plenty of excitement in this building because many are predicting this could be the game of the tournament, Coach. This is Tom Desotel from Sheboygan North.
Well, you got to win 3 games in order to win it. This is just the second game of a 3-game tournament.
I'm sure a lot of the fans are just getting a little excited because it's #1 against #2.
Well, that's a factor, and that's nice for the fans, but we look at it as another basketball game against a very, very good team.
If I could venture a guess here, I would imagine that you'd like to slow it down, the tempo, and get it inside to Mr. Portmann.
Actually, our game is a running game. We slowed it down last night against what we thought was a quicker team, and we're going to try and run a little bit more tonight if we possibly can. We have to control the boards in order to do that.
And Troy Rudall, of course, is important in controlling the boards. Oh, we got a basketball in here. Maybe we should play a little bit.
I think one of our players threw that at me, but no, Troy's important, and so is Kurt Portmann. And the little guys who get the long rebounds are just as important. Everybody has to realize that those rebounds, even though they're on the floor, are still very important to any team.
Just looking ahead to Wauwatosa East, speaking of guard play, Scott Rise seemed to control their ball game.
Speaking of guard play, Scott Rise is one heck of a basketball player, as is Tony Smith, the other guard. Probably the finest two guards that we'll face all year.
Tony Smith especially has caught the eye of the state, definitely a Division I college basketball player.
He's an all-stater, and I feel that we have a couple all-staters as well, Troy and Kurt. And it's really a good game for the fans to see.
Did you feel like your team played up to its potential in that first game?
We weren't real happy with our play. We thought we were a little nervous, and I think that's all gone tonight. I think you're going to see both teams play very good basketball tonight.
It seemed like in your quarterfinal match that the players knew when to turn it on, and they played as well as they had to at the time.
Well, I think they tried as hard as they possibly could for the entire game, but maybe that's the way it looked.
What do you think will be the key of this ball game to beating Tosa East?
Well, we have to control Tony Smith as best as we can, and we try to do that by wearing him down, putting a lot of ball players on him, rotating players onto Tony and onto Scott Rise, and hopefully their jump shots will be just a shade short in the fourth quarter when it really counts.
Okay, good luck to you, Coach. Right now, we're going to take a break. Then we'll come back and talk to the Wauwatosa East coach. But right now, we're going to take a break for a minute.
I'm looking for excitement, gotta catch it today at IBA. Making my future at IBA.
IBA students are educated in hair cutting, color, makeup, and nail artistry. Everything it takes to be successful in today's cosmetology world. Remember, you learn tomorrow's glamorous styles today at IBA.
Where beauty begins. Catch it.
This is the most powerful stereo American has ever offered for under $1,000. 240 watts of clear, clean power. This perfectly matched system delivers 240 watts of power into these giant 15-inch speakers. The system includes 14-band equalizer, digital tuner with presets, double dubbing cassette. You get everything, just $6.99, and that's not all. You also get a digital disc player, 240 watt stereo with digital disc, just $6.99 at American.
East and Sheboygan North. It should be a dandy. And right now is the head coach of Wauwatosa East, Jim Rebholz. And I was talking to you earlier, and I liked your frame of mind. You talked about just coming down here and having fun despite the fact that you're in the semifinal matchup.
Well, we want to have some fun. You don't get down here that often, so you should play hard, play with enthusiasm, have fun, and make some things happen. Give the fans something to watch and enjoy.
And I'm sure they've had a lot of fun on the way to that 24-0 record.
Oh, they work hard, and they seem to have fun in practice and games. I think that's why they're a pretty good team, because they don't get uptight about anything.
I was talking to Coach Desotel, and he was talking about speeding up the tempo tonight, that he would like to run and gun a little bit more than what would be expected of their ball club with the size they have.
Well, they like to run. They like to get it down the floor as much as possible. I think they may feel they can beat us up and down the court. We're going to try to control it a little bit more. Last night we were able to run because we thought that was to our advantage. Tonight we'll probably try to control it half court if we can.
And of course, the full court pressure is always important in this tournament.
Yeah, we expect them to come out at us, put a lot of pressure on, try to get us to turn it over. We've got to control that and be able to get it down and get into our offense.
Of course, you've got something in your hip pocket, being Scott Rise, a great ball handler, probably one of the better ball handlers in the tournament, along with Tony Smith, who can do about everything.
Well, hopefully they'll do the job tonight and handle the ball, not worry about anything, knowing that they're going to come at them. They've played against these kids on the playground. They come down to Milwaukee and play against them, so they're used to it.
A lot of people say that your conference wasn't that tough, but maybe some people are seeing it differently now.
Well, I would hope they would. We've got a pretty good team regardless of what conference we play in.
Okay, congratulations for getting this far and good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go to the table now with our experts, Paul Brown and Eli Grogan.
Thank you, Todd. And you know, Eli, you take a look at this basketball game. 48 games these two teams have played, and you only have one loss. You have Wauwatosa East with a 24-0 record, Sheboygan North at 23-1. We've heard the two coaches and their analysis of this particular ball game tonight. How do you see it?
Well, you know, I think it's going to boil down to whether or not Tosa East, a smaller ball club, can handle the boards, whether they can control Portman and Rudall inside, and then whether the guards of Tosa East, two excellent guards, Scott Rise and Tony Smith, if they can have their games and if they can assert themselves, Tosa East will be right there. So Tosa East they say they're playing for respect, and Sheboygan North is playing their #1 in the state. So it's #1 and #2 in a great matchup here tonight.
Do you expect we'll see a lot of man-to-man tonight, Eli, or do you think they'll try a little zone and multiple coverages?
Well, Sheboygan North plays a tough man-to-man defense, and they're talking about alternating a number of players on Tony Smith to put a lot of pressure on him. And I don't know. I kind of look for Tosa East. They play a good man-to-man also, but they might go into a little zone coverage, multiple coverages, to try and get some double-team coverage on Tony Smith.
One of our network sponsors is the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin.
Wisconsin on your tacos, in your cordon bleu. Wisconsin, ah, Wisconsin, the cheese more people choose.
Of all the cheeses in the world, more Americans prefer the cheeses of Wisconsin. Try some. Wisconsin cheese is made with the famous milk of the dairy state.
Wisconsin, ah, Wisconsin, the cheese more people choose.
In Italy, there are many ways to make the classic Italian pie. From blends of fine meats to the best cheeses, even poultry. Each recipe a closely guarded secret. In America, there is a special Italian pie. We call it Priazzo. You'll find it baked fresh each day, only at Pizza Hut. And that's all we intend to tell you.
Back at the UW Fieldhouse, we're getting ready for the semifinal here in Class A. We're glad you're with us for the coverage of the 71st Annual WIAA Boys Basketball Tournament. These two teams have earned the right to play in the semifinals. And let's take a look at how they got here as we take a look at the highlights with Todd Johnson.
Tosa East had to deal with Menominee and their big man John Ellenson. The future Marquette player had 18 points, and the Indians had a 2-point halftime bulge. Tony Smith is the man to watch for the Red Raiders. He filtered through the enemy lines for 18 points, 29-27 Tosa East, still a ball game. In the second half, unbeaten East flexed its muscle. Smith continued to show his natural ability. It's easy to see why this young man is being heavily recruited. However, Jim Rebholz has more than Smith. Scott Rise rose to the occasion. He led the Raiders in the 72-44 blowout of Menominee to advance to the semifinal round. In last night's final game, all eyes were on Sheboygan North and Milwaukee Madison. And Kurt Portmann, North Portman with 17 points. Milwaukee Madison would lead this game by 3 points at halftime. The Green Knights had the quickness and used that to their advantage. Otis Smith slipping a pair in here. Madison up by 3, 26-23. Sheboygan put on a spurt in the second half. Portman inside with help from Steve Coles. The Golden Raiders by 6 points. The Golden Raiders had just a 2-point edge. Troy Rudall maneuvered along the baseline, and then a pair of free throws by Coles in the end iced the game for North 53-51.
And we're back here at the UW Fieldhouse. Sheboygan North 23-1. They have won 11 basketball games in a row, and Wauwatosa East undefeated in 24 outings. You know, Eli, when you talk about the different opinion that people have on a particular basketball player, Tony Smith is drawing raves in this tournament. Kurt Portmann is drawing raves, but yet there are people that say at times it doesn't look like he's played with total intensity. I think you got to keep into perspective when you analyze a situation like that.
Well, when you talk about whether someone is playing with total intensity or not, I think it's easier to look at a big ball player and say, well, he's not playing as hard, and yet he is in his own way. A smaller ball player, they say he's smaller, he works harder, he's quicker, and they're talking about Tony Smith. And at the same time, you know, a bigger ball player looks a little bit slower sometimes, but they're playing hard. And I think in his own way, Kurt Portmann plays hard and has helped get the job done.
What would Eli Krogan do against Portmann tonight?
With our ball club or with this ball club?
With this ball club.
All right, with this ball club, and that's kind of one of the things we're were talking about before.
I'm not saying that Rebels isn't doing a nice job. We're not saying that, just arbitrarily here.
Right. I think with this ball club, with their team, and I would look at it, we were talking about that before, getting into some multiple coverages to get some double team help on Rudal inside and also on Portman. And I think these kids have good quickness from Tosa East. They're aggressive. They're undefeated. It's just going to be interesting to see what the game plan is and how they come out and how they come after them.
You know, the other thing that a lot of people are talking about as you filter through the UW Fieldhouse here is, hey, this is the championship game here tonight. And I know there's one group of players, coaches, and fans that don't think that, and that's Appleton East.
Well, Appleton East is waiting in the wings to play the winner. In 1983, we played Wisconsin Rapids. They were undefeated and ranked #1, and we played Rapids and beat them in a great game, but we still had to play the next night.
And let's take the introductions now of the starting lineups for both of these fine basketball teams with Jack Rain.
Starting lineups for this evening's Class A semifinal game. For the Red Raiders of Wauwatosa East at forward, a 6'3" senior number 40, John Lowe. For the Golden Raiders of Sheboygan North at forward, a 6'10" senior number 53, Kurt Portmann. For Wauwatosa East at forward, a 6'2" senior number 32, Dan Miller. For Sheboygan North, a 6'1" senior number 31, Kevin Conway. At center for Wauwatosa East, a 6'4" junior number 44, Rick Mondon. For Sheboygan North, a 6'5" senior number 51, Troy Rudall. At guard for Wauwatosa East, a 6'3" senior number 34, Tony Smith. For Sheboygan North, a 6'1" senior number 21, Brad Simmons. For Wauwatosa East at guard, a 5'10" senior number 30, Scott Rise. For Sheboygan North, a 5'11" senior number 5, Steve Poles. Wauwatosa East coach, Jim Rebholz. Sheboygan North coach, Tom Desautels.
Network sponsors is your Cooperative and Land O'Lakes.
Land O'Lakes litter weed. It's the brand new pig starter that actually helps you eliminate post-weaning lag. Because research proves pigs prefer new litter weed 4-to-1 over other top starters. Stop by your local cooperative handling Land O'Lakes products. With a new taste, pigs prefer 4-to-1. At least. Litter weed, new from Land O'Lakes.
You, your cooperative, and Land O'Lakes.
People taking charge of tonight's basketball game right there on your screen, and we're ready for the opening tip-off. And everybody has been very eagerly awaiting this one as the starting lineups here. And Sheboygan North, their starting 5, and it is Conway, and he is rammed as he tried to go in for the layup.
And that one was rejected by Tony Smith, and he got all ball and blocked it out of bounds.
So we have it being inbounds underneath the basket here, 7:56 remaining, and that is Portman, and Tony Smith is guarding him. To Simmons, back to Coles, in the corner to Conway. To Simmons, back to Cole.
Well, you said if I was Jim Rebholz with Tosa East, what kind of defense? And I said a zone, so we got some multiple zone coverages, and they're in a 2-3 zone. They're trying to get double team coverages on Portman and Rudall inside.
And the shot is short off the arm of Simmons, or Conway, pardon me. And we're underway with 7 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the first half. As Tony Smith guarded very closely underneath. Nice give and go. The bucket is good
speed on that, the two-pointer.
That is Simmons with the basketball, guarded by Smith. To Conway. Conway to Simmons, to Rudolph. And the rebound to Tony Smith.
Tosa East changing up their defense. That time they were man-to-man.
Tony Smith had 8 rebounds in the quarterfinal game. It is 2-0 right now. And driving the back door, the shot was no good by Miller. It goes out of bounds. 6 minutes, 42 seconds remaining.
And Tosa East looks aggressive at both ends of the court.
Smith to Miller in the corner to Smith. Tony Smith, who had 18 points.
Nice inbounds play, and back inside to Tony Smith with a post up, gets the basket.
That is Conway going back to Simmons, and it's a 4-0 game as Sheboygan North here is down by a couple of baskets in the early going of the first quarter.
Mongan on Portman and Miller on Rudolph, the two big matchups.
And two key matchups in this basketball game. Simmons to Rudolph, back to Simmons, he's open. Rebound is pulled down by Lowe. Quickly to Rise. Rise had a big ball game with 24 to Tony Smith. Underneath, the shot is rejected by Portman as Mongan took it. And we go back the other way as the tempo is up and down. No call on the foul there, and we go back the other way. With it is Miller. Miller from running with the court to the other. Rebound to Tony Smith. To Portman on the follow as he plucked it out of the air.
Well, the action is fast at both ends of the court and tough under the boards.
In the corner, Coles. Nice play. Miss in the follow by Rudolph twice. No good.
Well, I think Sheboygan North is playing a little bit tight at this point. They've had a couple good opportunities inside. Couldn't get the ball down.
Rise is guarded by Coles, and the shot was up, but it was no good, and the rebound is pulled down by Conway. It is Coles, Simmons, Portman, Conway, and Rudolph for Sheboygan North. Rise, Smith, Mongan, Miller, and Lowell. That is Rudolph, number 51, with a basketball to Simmons, guarded closely by Tony Smith to Kurt Portman. As they come to Coles. Coles to Rudolph. And the rebound is pulled down by Mongan.
They can't get one to drop. Sheboygan North running a motion offense, picking down.
And there's a shot, and it's nicely placed in the basket by Rise for a 6-0 lead. And his first 2 of the game. 3 different players with 2 points apiece. That is Cole, and it's rejected. Rudolph, no good. It's like there's a cover on that basket, Eli.
Well, they're a little tight right now, and they're just trying too hard at this point. Tom Desautels said he had to control the Tosa East guards, and Rise hit one, and Tony Smith has hit one.
4 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the first half. Tony Smith, 6'3", 180-pounder with a basketball. He's guarded by Simmons. They go up, rejected as Miller took it, and Portman blocked it, but he fouled him. His first personal.
Well, there wasn't any way he was going to get that shot over Portman. And as you can see in the replay, he's not going to get it over him, but Portman draws the foul with the body as he jumped into him. Portman blocked that first shot a little bit ago. I don't think he jumped when he blocked that one.
And that is Dan Miller at the free throw line. He had 6 points in the quarterfinal game, averaging 7 points per ball game. His coach said he's the best defensive player they have. And we'll watch who he gets for an assignment.
That's a pretty nice accolade.
And there's a turnover that's going to give the basketball to Wauwatosa East. And already a couple of substitutions coming in as it's Landwehr and Tharp. And there is the pressure he was talking about. They're going to pressure Rise and Smith by substituting a couple of guards.
Well, the other 2 guards went 4 minutes, and I think this is his game plan. At 4 minutes, the 2 new guards come in.
As Tom Desautels, we want to get a lot of pressure on the guards of Wauwatosa East. It is 8-0. Wauwatosa East down in front. That is Tony Smith. Look at that follow, and a tough shot rolls out. Rudolph with the rebound, but
and they just had a great opportunity to make it 10-0.
And they go to Portman, and he overlaid it. And Rudolph and Conway trying to come up with a rebound. Nice play by Conway.
Great save.
A lot of total effort here on the part of both basketball teams. 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Rudolph shot, and it was tipped by Portman.
Tipped in by Portman. They worked that hard to get a basket, and then he tips one in.
And it's 8-2 now with 3:08 remaining in the first half. As Wise and Tony Smith are the guards. Mondin, Miller, and Lowe are up front. That is Rise. It rimmed out. Rebound is controlled by Tharp. Almost picked off, but it's controlled by Landwehr. Underneath, and the bunny shot is missed by Conway. The follow by Rudolph, hit by Portman.
And Portman tips in the second one. So it's, again, you win with second and third shots.
And that is 4 points now for him. And it's intercepted. Nicely done by Conway. And the rebound comes off, and it's controlled as Sheboygan North has cut the deficit to 8-4 as Tharp will back it out and set it up. He's guarded by Rise. It comes to Portman. To Landwehr. They go off to Rudolph. And Rudolph muscling inside, the foul called against Wauwatosa East. They wanted a traveling, but no.
Sheboygan North has split their guards wide. Ball goes inside, and he draws the foul with a lot of contact inside. Sheboygan North has split their guards real wide. They're running an inside triangle with their three bigger players, and they're just trying to free somebody up for that inside layup.
And the free throw is up, and it is good by Rudolph. Averaging 15 points per ball game, and that's what he had in the quarterfinal game. And that one rolls short, and the rebound to Tony Smith.
You know, this is the ball game that probably both ball clubs have waited for all year. Number 1 and number 2 throughout the season.
And only one loss between them both. London to Tony Smith. And the rebound to Rudolph. Both teams a little cold, Eli.
Well, they're tight right now, and they're just not shooting as well as they have been.
And it was cleared in the pass ahead. Whistle and an offensive foul call. And sitting on the floor saying, I wonder, really, did I do that, is Mongan.
Well, Troy Rudolph got down, got defensive position, and drew the charge.
And one of our network sponsors is John Deere, and your local John Deere dealer.
A lot of people have found a John Deere riding mower slightly out of reach. But that's changed, because now you can get a brand new John Deere riding mower with full-length steel frame and 30-inch high-performance deck for the price of someone else's mower. In fact, when you see how affordable a John Deere rider is, you'll have to sit down. Nothing runs like a Deere.
This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Forbes Maher is having a warehouse sale.
Oh, too bad. I'm going to be busy.
You sure will be. Selling new and used pianos and organs at great savings.
No.
And portable keyboards, regularly $2.99, now just $1.99. That'll keep you hopping.
There is nothing in my job description that says work warehouse sales.
Is there anything that says permanently employed?
But those warehouse sales can be a lot of fun.
Forbes Maher's warehouse sale, now through Sunday. A lot of savings, a lot of fun. Odana Road Store only.
The Red Raiders undefeated in 24 games this year. They have won 25 in a row in the North Shore Conference, and their record the last 2 years is 38-5.
Well, an outstanding overall record, and they come in here just based on solid performance on the court, ranked number 2, and ready to challenge number 1.
Tharp and Landwehr are the guards. Portman is up front, along with Conway and Rudolph for Sheboygan North as they are down 8-5. The field goal percentage, as we mentioned, both clubs not shooting very well.
That's kind of an understatement at this point.
It's going to pick up, right?
Well, it will. Sheboygan North at this point has 2 tip-ins and a free throw.
56% from the floor last night for Sheboygan North. 55% for Wauwatosa East. That is Tharp to Conway.
Tosa East gone back to a 2-3 zone.
And that's Portman as he shot it over Mungan for 2. 6 points now for Portman. And it's 8-7. He had a run of 8 and now a run of 7 in this basketball game so far. Tony Smith, you've heard a lot about. There's a shot that was taken by Miller, and it rimmed out, but it's out of bounds to the Red Raiders.
Well, Paul, I think one of the keys here in the first quarter was, as you noted, the early substitution of those 2 reserve guards for Sheboygan North has helped bring them back to an 8-7.
And it will be inbounds by Rise, and Rise will come to Mungan. As Lowe comes back to Mungan. 7 for Sheboygan North, and 8 points right now for Tosa East. 19 seconds remaining here in the first quarter of play.
And Tosa East in a 2-3 zone with Portman in the middle.
Let's see who's going to take that shot here. They have 8 seconds remaining. As they go baseline, they better get it off. 2 seconds, and they have to hurry it, and it doesn't work. So we've come to the end of the first quarter of play. It's 8-7. Wauwatosa East, one of our network sponsors, is the Rural Companies, with nearly 300 agents in Wisconsin.
After the games, there are 2 more significant trophies to be presented. The WIAA Boys and Girls Sportsmanship Awards, sponsored by the Rural Companies. Presented to the schools which demonstrate the best spirit of fellowship and good conduct. These awards recognize the true spirit of the games. The Rural Companies support these high ideals and are proud to sponsor these trophies because we truly believe it's not whether you win or lose, it's how you play the game.
Howdy ho there. We'd like to tell you why the video station has Madison's best movie club. Tell them about it, Carrie.
Over 21,000 movies, Madison's only walk-through library, 99-cent rentals, reserve movies, and much, much more.
Listen, you mugs, the video station membership is all that stuff, plus $30 worth of movie rentals, all for $39.95, see?
What a deal!
And we are back here at the UW Fieldhouse as you see the 1 loss on the record of Sheboygan North. Right now it's Portman with a total of 6 points, 1 for Rudolph, and we have 3 players with 2 points apiece. And a free throw on the other side. A couple of free throws actually scored by Miller. 8-7 the score as we begin the second quarter of play. Rebounds in the first 8 minutes of action. Rise with the basketball, and it's taken away. Good play by Tharp, re-intercepted Miller, and he's going to be called on the offensive foul. And he said, look of disbelief on his face there, Coach.
Well, it was a case. It's a case, obviously, where Tony Smith doesn't see it the same way the officials saw it.
They never do in that situation.
Oh, that's true, Paul.
And it's 8-7 the score with 7 minutes and 35 seconds remaining. That is Portman. Lost control of it, but Sheboygan North will maintain control. They have won the Fox River Valley Championship 4 out of the last 5 years.
Coach Tom Desautels calling number 1 from the bench on their inbounds.
And